Hi. Toilets and fear. Crazy idea for a talk, I know. But the two of them are intertwined. They are connected because they both have a universal experience attached to them. Everyone in this room has used the facilities today. Some of you probably more than others. But there is a physical experience that each of us has to take care of in the bathroom. Physiological response. And unfortunately, fear is also one of those. It's visceral. Fear can motivate us or it can paralyze us. And there are times when it paralyzes us that I call that emotional constipation. And I know some of you have been there. We all have been there, where we are stuck in our fears. And we let anxiety and negativity overwhelm us. Now, some fears are legitimate. Maybe you're waiting on medical results, a biopsy. But we let little things bog us down to the point that we lose our potential. We limit the productivity of our day. And we let fear suck the life out of us. But as much as fear and toilets can be connected, we can also use one of them to help eliminate the other. Now, there are times in my life that I've spent a lot of time around the toilet. 8 years as a geriatric nurse, 20 years raising 3 boys, and 6 years as a general contractor. I can tell you potty stories that'll make you pee your pants, but I won't, I'll spare you. But throughout those roles in my life, each one of them came with its own set of fears and anxiety. Right this afternoon, my anxiety was chasing a 12-week-old puppy around my house for stealing toilet paper from the bathroom. So everything we do in life comes with its share of challenges. And for me, when I was 18 years old, I was faced with my biggest challenge. My mother had an emotional and mental breakdown. She had a hysterectomy as an emergency, and afterwards, she refused all hormonal treatment. The changes in her were fast and they were profound. The woman I admired and looked up to suddenly became narcissistic, mean, demanding, verbally abusive, and at times she was suicidal. I begged her to get help. I begged her to talk to a priest, a family member, a therapist, someone to help heal what was going on. She flat out refused. No one was to know what was going on in our house. So there I was, trying to heal my mother. For 3 years, I desperately tried to hold our family together. It got so bad, though, that I began to think of a way out. Driving home from the hospital night after night, I started to identify what telephone pole I might be able to drive my car into that I could make it look like an accident. I was blessed because someone near me saw me unraveling and pushed me into therapy. I found the clarity and the strength to realize that my mother's breakdown was not my fault, even though she tried to blame me as part of it. But I got the strength and the courage at 21 to move out. My parents cut all ties with me. I refused to go down with the sinking ship, and I was cast away. And I'll be honest, being rejected by your own parents is about as bad as it gets. But I stand before you 26 years later, now you know my age, and I am happy, I am healthy, I have strong relationships, and I think I'm a successful person. Why? Because I did the work. It was hard work. But I realized in getting through that period of my life, and now getting through work and parenthood and entrepreneurial life, that I had a set of tools. I had a toolbox that I used then and I use now. And in the self-improvement tools that I used for self-growth, there's a metaphor for the physical tools that I use as a contractor. So we're going to start with the first tool, which is a hammer. The primary job of the hammer is to connect. It's to bond two things in a deep and meaningful way. Well, looking back, that's what got me through dealing with the challenges at home. It was the relationships I had outside of just my nuclear family that got me through. And that person who stepped up and pushed me into therapy, it was a doctor from the hospital. He was my mother's age, he'd gotten to know me, and he saw me falling apart. And he pulled me into an exam room one night, and he said to me, "You need to know that you are not responsible for your mother's happiness." He said, "You're also entitled to be in a relationship that is free of verbal abuse and brings you unconditional love." No one had ever told me that before. So it was a very powerful and meaningful conversation I had one time with this doctor that totally changed my life. I am forever grateful to him, and he now knows that. We connected like 20 years after the conversation. But I ask you, who in your life do you need to connect with more deeply? Who do you need to have a better bond with so that you have the tools to deal with life's challenges? Put down the phones, Netflix, and connect with people. The greatest thing that we have in our toolbox to connect and make a difference in this world is our humanity and connecting with others. So I want you to go out in the world and be a hammer. The next tool is the adjustable wrench. It's open and flexible, it's accommodating. Its primary job is to grab a hold of nuts. Yeah, I know you're gonna laugh. Big ones, little ones. But the nuts are the proverbial opportunities in life. Every day we're offered opportunities, like I was offered this one through my friend Carol. I said yes, but sometimes I think we say no to things out of fear and insecurity. 6 years ago, I was asked if I wanted to go on the NBC 10 show and do a segment on home emergencies. My first thought was, am I gonna look fat on television? That was my first thought. I wasn't excited, I wasn't joyful, I was insecure. Something in my gut said, just go and do it. So I did. So 3 days later, I dragged a toilet to NBC Studios, and here she is. I should have had Luann Kahn autograph the lid. But after I did my segment with Luann, she grabbed my hand and she said, "You're a natural." Well, since that time, I've been on TV 100 times, including the Rachael Ray Show. I have 1.8 million views on my YouTube channel, and I shot a pilot for my own reality show, and I'm shopping it around at networks. None of that would have happened to me, personally or professionally, had I not said yes. So I want you to be a wrench in your own lives. Be open, be flexible, and be accommodating, because when you do, I'm telling you, amazing opportunities happen. And it's fun too. Next up, duct tape. Now, some of you are young in this crowd, but some of you remember MacGyver. MacGyver was that guy who could fix anything with duct tape, a wad of gum, and a paper clip. I keep the duct tape in my toolbox because I use it on my mouth. And not just because I have a potty mouth, because I totally hit 40 and said I don't care anymore and I just say whatever, but I need that tape sometimes to silence that voice in my own head, the naysayer that tells me that I'm not thin enough, young enough, smart enough, or worthy. Every one of us has a voice that says something similar to that. I think those voices come from somewhere in our past. Someone said something to us, and we've taken ownership of them. Why? Why do we own those? We need to let them go. I've also learned, through my years of dealing with things, that we have to identify what it really is that's at the root of our hang-ups so we can let it go. For me, my biggest hang-up, it's right here. It's rejection. When your own parents don't care enough and love you enough to fix your family, it makes you wonder your worth. Trust me, I've had 26 years to realize I'm worthy and I have lots of people that love me. But you have to identify it before you can let it go. Now, you all should have an index card with you with a piece of red duct tape on it. I want you to take those cards home tonight, and I want you to stick them somewhere where you will see them on a daily basis. Maybe the dashboard, bathroom mirror, cubicle, a dorm room. I want you to hold on to them and let them be a visible reminder to not listen to that voice that tells you you're not worthy, because you are. Now, the next task needs a little bit of privacy, and it's going to require a little bit of TP. Now, when you get home tonight, I want you to find a quiet place in your house and reflect. What is that one thing that has you stuck, that maybe has you emotionally constipated? That's a line from Tarzan, by the way, the kids' version. And write down on that piece of toilet paper, just like I did, what is the one negative thought, anxiety, or fear that's got you stuck? Then I want you to walk into your bathroom, and I want you to open that lid, and I want you to stand there and read it out loud. Rejection. Something powerful about saying what it is that's scaring you. Then, boldly and bravely, I want you to stand before your toilet, and I want you to flush your fears goodbye.